Hey, today I'm going to install one of these 360 vents for your sewer vent. This is going to replace this vent here. I've always put one of these on my previous RVs. If you look at my Class B in the back, you can see an outline of it right about there. I won't go over the details of how these function. You can go on their website and it'll kind of explain to you, but there's just a quick explanation of how to install this. It comes with one of these instructions with way too much information. I'm usually pretty good at looking at instructions, but I actually had a tough time with this one. So we'll put that away and I'll set up. So what I've done already is I've removed the screw, and here's the actual vent cap. And there's some ridges on here. That one I've already cut off. I'm using one of these, my wife's pruning shears. Probably could use a little saw, but oh, look at that. Came off like butter. And I will put these here. And I've kind of done a test run on this already on what I planned on doing. And I think I'm gonna have to grab some other cutting devices. I think I need to grab a small saw here and cut this stuff flush because it's not down all the way. But what I plan on doing is using this ring, and I will end up caulking it really good down onto this existing base. There's a new installation too like this, but you would have to remove all the sealant and take off everything, the screws down to the roof, and I'm not going to go to that extent. My sealant is all new here, so all I need to do is cut this flush, lay this down, and basically this piece is going to sit right on top. And you of course need to seal it. We'll run a bead of caulking around here under the base and as well as in here, and that will really, in a nutshell, that will be your final installation without showing all the caulking. But if you want to do this project, really easy to do. Disregard, like they're showing this funnel piece, put the funnel piece in here and then into the stack, but really this piece here already fits around this existing pipe tight. So if water makes it in here, it won't intrude down here. And even if it did, we're gonna seal this up really well, and it'll be watertight. So that's going to be my installation. If you have any, better advice on how to do this, let me know. Without, of course, I don't want to tear all this existing roofing off, but as long as I put the sealant in, this is going to be a watertight solution. I don't see any need to use this funnel piece or this base. This base 100% I don't need, because that is for starting on the roof from the beginning. Okay, I wasn't gonna show this part, but what I'm doing now is I'm gonna take some alcohol here, and I'm going to end up cleaning this piece really good, because we're going to be applying caulking on there, so you want to make sure all your pieces are nice and clean. Same as this piece, wherever I'm going to be applying the caulking, I want this to be nice and clean. And then of course the mating surface, I'm going to be mating everything up to here. What I ended up doing, cutting these pieces off, is that I've used one of these saws here. This is basically a Japanese saw, but it's flat bladed, very good saw if you ever want to cut something flush to the surface. So I used this, a little big for what I needed, but then I also used one of these razors to clean it up a little bit. And so it's nice and smooth, and the piece is in order. This piece will go here. We'll apply a bunch of silicone here, apply this like this, and of course silicone again on this piping, and you'll get squeezed in here. The caulking that I'm going to be using is just basically a paintable silicone. It's white. I use the actual siding, something that you can use for siding. That means it's outdoor rated. People get very sensitive on the type of sealants to use, but you don't want to use Dicor in this application because the silicone actually has holding strength. You need this piece to physically be glued on there. And I have used it before, and you know, that's what Winnebago uses, is silicone. The black stuff that you see on the roof here, it's actually a self-leveling silicone. The good and the bad, you know, the bad is nothing else likes to really stick to silicone, but we're not applying anything else but silicone on here. So let's do this first. Let's go ahead and apply some sealant or caulking on this base. And if you're like me, this is kind of like a art form. People usually always make a mess, including me. Just take your time. And this ladder is kind of in the way, so that doesn't help, of course. Okay. The other thing we want to do is we want to actually apply it on this top of this pipe. That's what's going to actually glue onto the 360 vent. So now this piece is ready. There's tons of silicone on here already. I probably don't need much at all, but I'm just going to put a tiny bit just in case. We want to make sure this pipe here comes up through this base, and there's a little opening here that water can get in through, so we want to make sure, we want to make sure that no water gets inside. Now that I have that, I'm also going to apply silicone along this inside, I call it the cup, inside here, and that way no water can get in here at all. I'm probably not in the best seating position here. I don't like showing all this kind of detail because it is a little bit boring, so I would suggest anyone that's not into this just fast forward it, but I know some people need to see the actual application from beginning to end, which is nothing wrong with that. I like to see how things are done sometimes, and you know, there's more than one way to do this, but I'm doing the way that I feel comfortable, and I know it'll make a complete seal. I'm gonna put some on here too. I think, again, I have plenty of silicone here, so that's not going to be an issue at all. And I call this pride in your work. You have the 360. I like to face it north-south position with the RV, so it looks nice and symmetrical. Some people care about that, some people don't. Okay. And I'm just checking to make sure everything is tight. Looks like it is. What I need to do now is apply some sealant between this piece and this piece. Okay, what I'm going to do now is take some of this excess silicone with my finger and smear it around. Okay, I have some paper towel up here to clean up my fingers. We have some on the ladder here. And then of course this part here, you could leave that stuff, it's harmless, but I'm just trying to make it nice and tidy. Well, I just made it worse. Should have just left it be. I'm gonna let this dry overnight and see if there's any shrinking happening tomorrow. And if I need to apply another bead, I doubt I will. I think I have plenty of sealant on here. And that's the finished project. If you have comments or other tips on how to do this a little bit better, let me know. I say on a scale of difficulty, this is pretty easy. This is an easy DIY. You know, yeah, I think pretty much anybody can do it. The hardest part is actually getting up on this ladder. It's not the most comfortable working up in this area. And that's it. See you on the next video.